Hello, my name is Logan Deary, and I will be presenting WorldCom. A little bit of background about WorldCom and what their company did and what they are. Um, at the time, WorldCom was one of the largest telecommunications in the world. It was based around three divisions. Um, the latest one being MCI, which was actually the merger that bought them out. Um, America. It was one of America's leading long distance phone companies, and it was originally headquartered in Clinton, Mississippi, then moved to Ashburn, Virginia. And as you'll find throughout this presentation, it was actually the largest bankruptcy in history, in all of corporate history. And it was formed in 1998 and it had 75,000 employees. So, as you can see, they were rather large. They were a large company that grew rapidly and um, used ways that are unethical and illegal to grow their business, which we'll get into in a little bit. So, to start, what really was the fall of the company and how it changed from being a successful company to, the largest bankruptcy in America, not just America in history, was um, because companies slashed their spending with WorldCom. And to make up, the slashed spending with them and the excess um, revenue and profits that they had, they used the company's books and accounting department and what is known as cooking the books. They recorded expenses as investments, which then made their profits and revenues look larger on paper and grow. So, oftentimes, the most important question to ask about these types of things that go wrong in corporations is who is to blame. And, looking at the WorldCom um, incident and the WorldCom situation, really the three main people to blame are Bernie Ebbers, Scott Sullivan, and David Myers. Bernie Ebbers, being the CEO, he um, was sentenced to 25 years in prison, along with Scott Sullivan being sentenced to 5 years as well. The main reason that Bernie Ebbers was sentenced longer than Scott Sullivan is because Scott Sullivan actually testified against Bernie Ebbers in court, explaining um, how he cooked the books and how he recorded expenses as investments. Um, some unethical actions that I talked about in the paper that the organization and the company did are fraud, manipulation, corporate social responsibility, and false claims. Fraud, manipulation, and false claims kind of all go hand in hand. As fraud, you know, reporting, misreporting accounting papers and numbers is obviously illegal. And then, the manipulation goes right along with that as they manipulated the accounting books to make it look like they were bringing in more money and less expenses. And, the corporate social responsibility is just as far as their unethical decisions. They did not follow their duty to, as a company, to follow their ethical decision making and their what is morally right. As a result of this, there's obviously four main ones. The biggest one being bankruptcy and some criminal charges and jail time. The company being the largest bankruptcy in history. Again, going back to criminal charges and jail time, when you commit unethical decisions, not only are they sometimes unethical within a company and what is morally right, but also it's oftentimes borderline, illegal. And what WorldCom did, as far as their books and their accounting division, it was illegal. So that is why, it resulted in jail time. And then the loss of billions of dollars. WorldCom was producing billions of dollars in revenue at the time, and they did end up settling in court for a large amount of money of billions of dollars. Oftentimes, things are asked of what could have been done to have been prevented this, and how could a company, so large, commit such unethical decisions. And a lot of it goes to, again, it goes back to corporate social responsibility and their duty to act ethically. So, really, going back to what I talked about in the paper and throughout this presentation, is the main one is just, following the legal laws of doing business. And in any business that you do, that's, one of the main duties of corporate social responsibility is to follow legal actions. And clearly, WorldCom was not able to do so, and it came back and, hurt the company, hurt the organization, and reputation of their employees. And then installed a better corporate culture. I talked about this earlier in the presentation, a little bit in the paper as well. It starts top down, and clearly, Ernie Evers and Sullivan and Myers, they did not instill a quality corporate culture within the company, within an organization, and that often happens starting top down. So, you can imagine the company and their corporate culture, not only at the top management as well as all the way through. And then just a conclusion overall about the presentation of WorldCom, um, and for future companies doing business, it's always important to not only perform your corporate social responsibility, but also your um, following legal action and following legal accounting rules, and making unethical decisions and not following these laws and rules put in place can clearly backfire and really hurt an organization and their reputation. Um, so WorldCom, as a result, they, like I said earlier, um, used their accounting books and wrote off expenses as investments, which took away from their profit and revenue, made them look higher, and it made the company look as better and more successful. And then illegal behavior is obviously going to result in consequences and jail time, and can be taken to court for civil action as well. And then again, unethical behavior, starts from the top down. So I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation and what I had to talk about as far as WorldCom and their unethical decisions and how it could have been prevented, and also, what kind of consequences can occur post unethical behavior.